Behind every great success story, there's always that hidden chapter, right? The one that's full of failure and doubt and just quiet struggle, long before the big breakthrough ever happens. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really look at the anatomy of that journey, from the absolute lowest lows to that moment the light finally breaks through. So what does that journey actually look like? If you've ever tried to build something or create anything new, you have definitely asked yourself this question. And it almost always starts in the same place, a period of just intense effort that feels like it's going absolutely nowhere. And that's where it all begins, right? In this first stage we're calling the lonely grind. This is where you're putting in all the work, but crickets. The world just hasn't noticed yet. It is literally the sound of silence. Oh man, we all know this picture, don't we? It's fueled by way too much coffee and just sheer hope. The hours all start to blur together, the rest of the world is asleep, but you're still there, grinding away, totally convinced that all this effort has to lead somewhere. And then you check the numbers, and it's just a big, fat zero. 0 visitors, 0 likes, 0 sales. It really feels like you are screaming at the top of your lungs into a black hole. And that is the crushing weight of pouring your entire soul into something only to get nothing back. It's the first real test. So that silence, it doesn't just stay quiet. After a while, it starts to get heavy. And that brings us to stage 2, facing the abyss. This is the point where that lonely grind starts to curdle into some serious, profound despair. You think, okay, I'll get out of the house. But that just makes it worse. You're walking down a crowded street, surrounded by people, life buzzing all around you, but you've never felt more invisible. You're sitting in a coffee shop and you just hear people laughing at another table, and it just feels like they're on a different planet. Their easy happiness makes your own struggle feel a million miles away. And of course, what do? You pull out your phone, and it's just this endless scroll of everyone else's wins, their breakthroughs, their celebrations. The contrast between that and your reality, that dashboard still showing 0, is just brutal. And it all boils down to this one single feeling. You are completely, utterly alone. And this feeling, this abyss, it's not just in your head. You can see it all around you. It's the physical evidence piling up. The trash can full of crumpled up ideas, the whiteboard that you keep erasing, the bank account that's getting dangerously low. It's being exhausted, but with 0 progress to show for it. And that leads you to this moment. The moment where giving up doesn't just feel like an option, it feels like the only logical thing to do. Everything is telling you to just stop. This is rock bottom. But it's funny. Right when you're at the absolute bottom, that's often when something unexpected can happen. And this brings us to part 3, a faded spark. That tiny little glimmer in all that darkness. Just when you're about to throw in the towel, something shifts. It's not this huge lightning bolt moment, nothing grand. It's much quieter. It's a flicker, a distant memory of why you even started this whole crazy thing. And a lot of the time that spark is just remembering your original purpose. Maybe you find an old notebook, with your first handwritten goals scrawled in it. It's a reminder of that raw, unfiltered passion you had before the struggle wore you down. You reconnect with your mission. Okay, so you've got that spark back. Now what? Now begins the real climb. Welcome to stage 4, building from the ashes. And this isn't about going back to the old way of working. This is something new. And this is the key difference, right? It's not just about blind passion anymore. It's about getting smart. Rediscovering your why gives you an anchor, something real to hold on to. Then you start studying. You look at what works for other people. You test small things, you learn from them, you swap your ego for actual data. You go from saying, my idea has to work, to asking, what can I learn to make this work? Look, the nights are still going to be long, the work is still hard, but the feeling behind it, totally different. That frantic, desperate energy is gone. Now it's a quiet, steady determination. Every single action has a purpose. And all this new, focused work, it eventually starts to pay off. It leads to that moment you've been dreaming of. Part 5, the first signal. That first beautiful crack of light. And there it is, that notification, the first sale, the first download, the first client, that number one. It might look tiny to anyone else, but for you, oh man, it is everything. It's proof that you're not shouting into the void anymore. Somebody heard you.
And the best part? It wasn't just luck. That one turns into 2, then 10. You start to see real momentum building. It's slow at first, for sure, but it's real and it's growing. This is the direct result of that methodical climb.
And that momentum carries you somewhere completely new, to our final stage where everything is transformed. Stage 6, a new horizon. This isn't just about the numbers going up. It's a fundamental shift in your entire world.
Suddenly, everything just feels different. The darkness, both literal and metaphorical, starts to lift. That messy desk in the dark becomes an organized workspace filled with light. And that bone-deep exhaustion from all the doubt, it gets replaced by the energy that only comes from real confidence.
I mean, just look at the difference. It's night and day, right? You go from that panicked frustration, just throwing stuff at the wall in the dark, hoping something sticks, to this calm confidence of building something in the light because you know you're on the right path.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that the path to a breakthrough almost always goes straight through a period of what feels like total failure. The abyss isn't a detour, it's part of the anatomy. And that leaves me with one last thought for you. If every journey has an abyss, then the most important question isn't how to avoid it, but where, in the darkness, you're going to find your spark.